Hey everybody, hope you guys are healthy and safe. So you're watching footage shot with the DJI Action 6, the newest action camera from DJI. But this video is not about the Action 6, but more about this guy, the Huawei Mate X7, the new foldable phone from Huawei. So the reason I'm filming with the Action 6 is because I'm testing so many products right now. I'm a little bit overwhelmed. Holidays are around the corner, and I wanted to combine my workflow. So I thought I would film the A roll, which is the talking part of this phone's review, with the DJI Action 6. So that later when I review the Action 6, I already have some footage I can use as reference to see how image quality sounds. So anyway, the Mate X7, what's new? So Huawei's marketing has been keen to market this phone as a new redesign. If you go by the reviewer's guide and the press release, multiple times they said this phone is like redesigned from the ground up. Now I've been doing this long enough to know that you always take these marketing claims with a pinch of salt. So I want to say I highly doubt this phone is actually 100% redesigned from the ground up, because once you look at it, once you pick it up, it looks and feels very similar to a previous Huawei Foldable. But that's not a bad thing, because Huawei Foldables have always had arguably the best hardware among all the foldable phones. I mean, except for the silicon inside, but that's not really Huawei's doing. That's like outside forces. But other than the silicon, in terms of the hinge, the camera, the display, Huawei Foldables have always been a leader, and the Mate X7 continues that trend. Okay, let's go over the basic specs. So the Mate X7 measures 9.5 millimeters when folded and weighs 235 grams. So these numbers are improved over the Mate X6 and are among one of the thinnest and lightest foldable phones around. And indeed, when the phone is folded, it feels just like a slab phone. The outside screen is a 6.5-inch OLED display with an aspect ratio of about 21:9. So it's basically like a conventional smartphone aspect ratio. This is a Vivo X300 Pro, and if you put them side by side, okay, open up the phone, you have an 8-inch display on the inside, OLED panel. The crease seems to be improved over the last generation, because now it is like even fainter than before. You can still see it if light hits it a certain way, but for the most part, it's very hard to see when you're indoors, and when you run your finger through it, you don't really feel a deep groove. That's because the hinge is actually new. I think when Huawei says this phone is redesigned from the ground up, I think they're talking about the hinge, because this hinge is definitely more sturdy and robust than the previous Huawei foldables and any other Chinese foldable phones I've tested before. If you watch my videos, you'll know that I've always said that Chinese foldables, they were better hardware than Samsung's foldables, except in one area, the hinge. When it comes to the hinge, Samsung's foldables just had the most reassuring hinge. Like, it takes a little bit of force to open, and it stayed in place at a wider range of angles than Chinese foldables. With most Chinese foldables, like the Honor Magic V5 or the previous Huawei foldables, if you fold it like at this point, it usually won't stay open. It will like flop close if you move it a little bit. So I'm happy to report the hinge in the Mate X7 is now much improved. It can actually stay in place at all the angles that the Samsung hinge can stay in. Look at this, like very close to being closed, and I can shake the phone, I can tap on it, and it doesn't flop close. All the other Chinese foldable phones I've tested before, the hinge would not be able to do this. And likewise, if you open it all the way like this, like almost open but not quite, you see, the hinge is staying in place. It's just very sturdy, very reassuring. And when you open and close, you also need a little bit more intention to open it. And this is definitely the best hinge among all the Chinese foldable phones right now. And the phone is still rated IP58 and IP59 for water and dust resistance. So it's also one of the most durable foldable phones around. All right, let's put the water resistance to the test. Still works. Now the camera system, if you go by hardware or just numbers on the spec sheet, it's really good and arguably the best among all the foldable phones right now. I will talk about the camera system very soon, but first I want to take a minute to talk about today's video sponsor, Antigravity. So Antigravity has recently released a drone called the A1. It's a small, lightweight consumer drone that weighs only 249 grams, which is just light enough that you can bring it into any country without restrictions. Now what's cool about the Antigravity A1 is that instead of shooting a conventional conventional fixed focal length. It has a pair of lenses that can shoot 360-degree videos, and the videos look awesome, as you can see from the footage here. That's because Antigravity was incubated by Insta360 and other third parties. So the A1's 360 cameras uses the same technology as the Insta360 camera, so you get best-in-class image stitching and best-in-class software. You can shoot first and reframe the video later. So the A1 being able to fly high above, it's awesome because it's able to grab these stunning, sweeping 360-degree field of view of a skyline. And I can just fly the drone and then later reframe that video however I like. So when the drone is flying, you can see the exact footage that the drone sees via this headset called the Vision Goggles. You'll be able to see a 360-degree view of the sky. In fact, you actually have to move your head around to examine the skyline around you. To control the drone is very easy because Antigravity built this very intuitive one-handed controller that supports motion detection. To control the drone, you just have to move the controller. There's free motion mode in which the drone just follows whatever direction the controller is pointing at, or there's FPV mode. You turn the drone by tilting your wrist. You can also control the drone using conventional dials and buttons. I made a much longer video on the Antigravity A1 on the YouTube channel, so do check it out. And if you want to buy it, I have a link in the description below. Okay, so the main camera here, it's a 50 megapixel main camera. It shoots a 23mm focal length, and it has a sensor size of 1/1.28 inch. This is the largest sensor we have seen in a foldable phone yet, and the only other foldable to have even come close is the Vivo X Fold 3 Pro. All the other foldable phones that I've tested, they all have like 1/1.5 or even like a half-inch sensor. On top of that, you have a variable aperture, meaning there's physical shutter blades that open and close around the main camera to control how much light you take in. The aperture ranges between f1.5 to f4 with a bunch of stops in between, so you can stop at f2, f2.2, f2.4, just like that. And the colors are also very accurate thanks to Huawei's XMIH engine system and the chroma sensor, which works in tandem to make sure colors are accurate. Although, if you have watched my videos, you will know that natural colors isn't always what I want, because one of the reasons I love a Vivo camera is because I like that they give you a lot of film simulation profiles. You can take photos that kind of feel like they were captured by a vintage retro camera. So you don't get that here. All the photos are very accurately colored and true to life, which is good for most people, I guess. Elsewhere, you have a 50 megapixel tele macro zoom lens with the largest aperture I've seen in a foldable phone zoom lens yet. It's f2.2. The sensor isn't that large, but the aperture being so wide open definitely helps it takes in light. But I do find out when I'm using a telephoto lens at night, the shutter still slows down a little bit. So if I'm taking a picture of something that moves like a cat, the face may be blurry sometimes. But just take like 3 or 4 shots and at least 2 or 3 of them will look very good, but one of them may be blurry. And then the third camera here, it's a 40 megapixel ultra-wide camera that captures a pretty sweeping field of view. And for a foldable phone ultra-wide camera, this is actually pretty good. As you can see from these photos and video samples, the Huawei Mate X7's camera system is very strong. Alright, so you're watching main camera footage shot with the Huawei Mate X7 main camera, and I'll switch up to the ultra-wide. 3.5. Okay, as for the chip powering the phone, as usual, Huawei is not officially talking about the silicon, but we know that inside the phone, it's the Kirin 9030 Pro, which is Huawei's best silicon, and it's more than powerful enough to run just about any app that you're going to install on the phone. But it is technically, going by numbers, a little bit slower and not as efficient as the newest chip from Qualcomm or Apple. But you only really see the difference if you're doing something very intensive, like you're exporting a long 4K video on CapCut. Otherwise, I've been playing a lot of games on this. I've been going on Instagram, sending emails, and performance is absolutely fine. There's like no lag, no stutter. And because I'm using the global version of the phone, this guy runs EMUI. It's still based on an open source version of Android. EMUI, I've said a lot about it. I don't love it. I don't like that there's no app tray. The app icons just feels a little bit outdated compared to what I'm used to from Origin OS or Color OS, but it is still a very functional and very fast and fluid software. And Huawei's also designed a new multitasking system, so it's not just a conventional split screen grid or floating window. If you open an app, if you swipe up and hold, you can drag it to the middle, and then from there it launches into this kind of multi-floating window thing that expands beyond the borders of the screen. The concept is very similar to Oppo and OnePlus's multitasking system, but a little bit different. So I have Chrome open now. I'm gonna open a photo gallery. So see now I have 2 apps open, but I can jump between them and they stay mostly full size. It's not like a tiny grid. But if I want, I can also move the grid over to have both apps show in a smaller, tighter grid. And then if I tap on this little button, I can add a 3rd app. So I'm gonna open Instagram. So now I have Instagram here. I have a photo gallery and I have Chrome right here, and all 3 apps can run like independently. So this system, it's pretty good, but I think I still prefer Oppo and OnePlus's multitasking system the most. I think that's still the best way. But if you don't like the system, you can also just go back to a conventional floating window style. You can just have multiple apps open in this small resizable window, and you can just shove this window to the side when you're not using it and bring it back when you need. On the AI front, because this phone runs EMUI, it's not going to have all the AI features that a China version of a Huawei phone will get, but you still have a pretty solid generative AI photo editing that does a pretty decent job, although not as good as what you're going to get from a Samsung Galaxy or a Google Pixel phone. If you're wondering, yes, you can run Google apps on this phone. Not officially, not via Google mobile services, but when you unbox the phone, if you go into Huawei's app gallery, you can already install Micro G, which is a third-party software that spoofs the Google mobile services. It's apparently open source, so it's highly trusted. It's highly used among the niche Android modding community. And once Micro G is installed, and once you have Micro G installed, you can run any Google apps on this, like YouTube, Google Maps, Gmail, everything works fine. So this is the Huawei Mate X7 in a nutshell. It's not a huge improvement over the Mate X6. The camera system is great here, but I thought the Mate X6 also had really good cameras already. But if you are jumping over from a Mate X5 or another older Chinese foldable, you're gonna appreciate the camera system, the IP58 and IP59 water and dust resistance, and the strong hinge. So that's about it for this video. I have a lot more content coming. If you're interested in keeping up to date with the latest in consumer tech, please consider subscribing to my channel. It would help me a lot. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.